Alright guys, we're back on the Yamaha. There's one thing I want to do in this before I set it free on the streets, because this does have a street title and I can't wait to go tear it up. But I want to do a timing chain in it. I don't know when it's done. The valves, the shims and the valves are nice and fat. It looks like the head's been done at some point. But the timing chain, the way when I was setting up the timing, I wasn't happy. Like, it didn't feel like the timing marks were dead on. So I'm going to fix all that. I'm just going to put a brand new timing chain in it. So we got to pull the side cover off. Bring it up. Come on. All right. So we're going to pull the tank off so I can get to the valve cover. I'm going to pull the side cover off here. I'm going to set the timing at the timing mark. Remember the timing mark on these reverse cylinder Yamahas. So we're going to get the timing mark set. I got a new plug coming too. I'm pretty sure I ordered it. Yeah, but got a new one coming for that if I didn't. And of course, all new plastics and everything. Bike's going to look great. I got to put a headlight and a tail light, brake light on it. So I'll have another video for that because I'm going to run it independently because it doesn't have a battery on it. And this also has the exhaust that's wrapped all around underneath the seat where you normally put the battery. So that's not going to work. So we got to figure something else out. Not a problem. Let's go ahead and get this tore off here. I'm going to pull the stator cover off after I set it to top, the timing mark and the tank and everything off. So let me get it broken down for you. All right, with the tank off, I pulled the spark plug wire out. I got 5mm Allens right here and the vent line right here for the breather. We're going to pull that off, and then the valve cover is going to come off. All right, with the valve cover off, we're going to go down here. I'm going to take the side inspection cover off and then the side cap so we can rotate the crank. All right, so you can see the mark right in there, right at that center notch on the inspection cover, and then our timing marks. We have one right there. And then if you look at this one, this is my concern here. You see how that one is below? All right, come on, focus in there. See how it's below the gasket surface? I'd like for that one to be higher. I think this chain is stretched, so I'm going to swap it out. Now, the way the cams look right here, that's how they're looking right there with everything lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking things apart. Now, drain your oil so you don't have any oil. Make sure you have a pan underneath it to catch anything. Take off your timing tensioner, which is, you're going to take this center one off just because it's easier when it's mounted. It doesn't do anything except keep dirt and debris out. But crack this one loose. Take these two 10s, these two 8mm out. This is a 10mm. Sorry, these two are 8s. Take this whole thing out. Now, if you want, you can see, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to release the tension from here until it stops, and I'm going to count the turns so I can see how many turns it is from this one and then the new one. So when this comes out, it ratchets out, and then to take the tension off, you have this little tiny flathead in there, and you screw it out. So I'm going to count how many turns out it takes, and we'll see. All right, so it took 3 turns. So basically, you're just going to put this in here, and you're going to count the turns. You're going to rotate it all the way around until it stops. All right, so 1, 2. Okay, and there's 3. And then at 3, it locks into place. So when I tighten it in there, it'll stay in place right there. So the tension is off the chain. But look how much play is in this chain. I mean, it just seems like a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it's worth it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take the rest of this off and take it out. All right, and I pull the shifter off to give me room to pull this out. Remember, with the shifter, you have to take the 8mm on the bottom. You have to take that all the way out because it holds it in place. See how it's into the threads there? So you got to make sure you take it all the way out before you pull the shift lever out. All right, let's get this cover off. All right, so taking this nut off here, there's 2 flat plates right here, sections where you put a 19mm wrench. So I took a 19, put a 19 on it just like that, held that, and I just hit this with a 17mm impact right there. And my compressor was real low. It didn't use a lot of pressure to get this thing off, and it's a regular thread, okay? So this sucker's just going to come right off. There's a washer behind it. All right, so don't lose that washer. And now we're going to get a puller for this. All right, so for this, you want to make sure you protect these threads. So the tusk puller comes with a insert here that you screw onto the threads. So you want to screw this on, not all the way because it's not going to pull it, so back it off some so you can get a little pull on that, and then put your tool over it, thread this on. All right, and then when this is threaded on, you're going to hold this and screw this in, and it'll pop it off. All right, so this is my setup right here. I got this is a 7/8 inch on that. I got it up against the foot peg. I put this one here, and this is a 15/16 on this, and I pulled it until it popped, and it popped. There's a good amount of force behind it, but It wasn't anything more than just human force. I just pulled it, but when it comes loose, it pops. So now that it's loose, and you can see that it's loose on here, I'm going to take this off, spin the center piece out, and pull it out the rest of the way. Don't keep jamming on this after it pops loose, because you don't want to push them against each other. So we're going to go ahead and take it all off. All right, now this is what we're looking at. Now with the tension off, I want you to look at how much that chain will hang down below there, okay? There's a retainer there behind it. You see when I drop it down, it hits the retainer. So it should be able to skip a tooth here, but if you let this thing get super worn, it'll skip them up here. So it'll jump a tooth up here. You just got to be careful with this stuff, right? So we're going to take off the this retainer right here so that we can get the timing chain off. All right, and I just pulled this off here. There's Loctite in there, so when you're taking these off, they're not going to come out super smooth. But you can just take this, it just slides out of the cam chain tensioner. I already pulled it off here, but you're not going to be able to get it past the tensioner. I mean the auto decompression. So you're going to have to take this cam out. So I'm going to go ahead and take these 4 8mm here, remove the cap, and move the cam out of the way. All right, I got them all loose. When I pull this cap up, remember there's a retainer clip underneath there you don't want to lose. So pay attention to it. Just kind of wiggle it, pull it up. And just look for it. Oh, and it fell. All right, but it's right there, sitting right there on the top. All right, so let's move this cap out of the way. Grab the clip right here. And this just sits right in here is where this sits, okay? So I'm going to get that out of the way. And now you can see from taking that out, I can move this cam out of the way. Just pick it up a little bit. All right, and you can see the timing chain just jumped out. It's trying to get out so bad it wants to get out on its own. All right, so now we have it down here. We're just going to go ahead and fish it out. All right, there's our old one. Let me grab the new one. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. I have the pins lined up here, and as we go down, look at the one on the right. That's the old one. Okay. See? Okay, it's stretched. Look how much longer it is. Okay, so the right chain is definitely worn out. So let's put this new one in. Here's the timing chain part number, 2011 YZ450F. All right, so to get it back in, I just dropped it down the top right here, let it down as far as I can with my finger, turned it a little bit, pulled it out, got it around here, pulled it up, and then I just hooked it onto the intake so that it wouldn't drop back down in there. So it's just sitting on there now, and then I'll pull it up over the exhaust. But let's get the retainer and everything back in the bottom with some blue Loctite. All right, so with the bottom on here, I got these two tight with blue Loctite. An interesting fact here is that this one, I was able to, with the other chain, just kind of pull the chain back a little bit and rotate it a tooth. I can't do that with this, so I have to take the cam out a little bit to get it to where I need to. So let me get this mark lined up. All right, so I got everything up top lined up from about where it's going to be with the timing marks. May have to move it a tooth. We're not sure yet. We got to get the flywheel on and get the timing mark lined up. So let's do that. You just grab it. There's the keyway right there. Make sure you're on the keyway. Put it on there. Then we're going to put the nut on here and torque it. Let me get you the torque spec. All right, so this is going to be 47 foot-pounds. Again, hold it right here at the flats with the 19mm and 47 foot-pounds. All right, so now with our timing marks lined up again, so there's our little triangle, or A, what they call it in the book, right there. And then we have our one timing mark right there, and our other one right there. That's a lot better. That's what I like. And this is without tension on the chain either. So when we put the chain in, it'll pull this one down a little bit, and we'll be looking really good right there. Yep. Let's get the top cap back on first, and then the tensioner. All right, so let's tighten these up. These are 10 Newton meters or 7.2 foot-pounds. And remember, don't cross-hatch. Do it in the order it says. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you tighten these, okay? So get them snug, and then go back and torque them. I'm using an inch-pound at 10 Newton meters. Inch-pound torque wrench at 10 Newton meters. All right, so this is the setup I'm using right here. 8mm, 10 Newton meters. All right. When you're done tightening them up, make sure you can move smoothly and it's not binding up or anything, okay? We're good. Let's put the cam chain tensioner in and count how many turns out we are. All right, so it's back in and it's released, so let's check it out. let me get it here so you can see. Okay, so there's a clip right here. Let's go 1 rotation. All right, so right there. So not even 2 rotations. So 1 3/4, and the other one was at 3. So to give you an idea, 1 3/4 is new, and 3 was pretty slap worn out. So give you an idea where you're at if you wanted to check it that way. All right, it's now released. Let me put that center cap in there to keep the dust and debris out. All right, I got the side cover back on, shift lever back on, and yeah, I know this is all rusty. I have new chain and sprockets all going on here, and I got them all just in the shop, on the other shop. So I'm gonna go throw those on. So all right, so let's get the valve cover back on here. Remember, put a little bit of Yamaha Bond on these corners right here, and that'll help seal everything up. Make sure you get all the old Yamaha Bond off. All right, so let me do that. All right, guys, so that's all there is to it. It's all buttoned back up again. Get the valve cover back on. I got to do a couple more things to this bike before I start it. I'm going to change the oil. I got to put all the plastics on, chain and sprockets. I'm going to hold off on the tires because I have a project for this bike that I want to do, being it's street legal. And it's not a supermoto, so you might want to stay tuned for that. So I got a couple more things to do to this bike before I really get it on the road. So stay tuned, guys. Hopefully you like this video. Make sure you get these timing chains done, especially if you don't know the history of the bike. Make sure you just change it. It's not that big of a deal. The chain is only like 35 bucks, and it'll take you, if you have the right tools to pull the flywheel, it might take you an hour out here. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I'm gonna get this bike all set up. Fun project, street legal. Stay tuned, guys. Check it out. But please do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for further notifications, guys. Until next time, Tepcocyclerepair. Yeah, baby.